Times Square, monumental megawatt miracle of the millennium.
A million lights, they flicker there. A million hearts beat quicker there. No skies of gray on the great white way. That's the Broadway melody.
They say there's a broken heart for every light on the Great White Way. But that's neither here nor there to Marty Katz. His concern is burned out bulbs.
And you can see on the first triad there's a lot of filler out. See all those spaces? That should all be filled up with the neon is there, but it's not lighting up.
The sign looks stupendous to us, but then we're no Marty Katz.
Well, you can see there's quite a few things I got to look at. And there's a little spot out in the blue and the camel, the bottom of the C. If you look at the background of the Pepsi can on the bottom, you see a section across that's out that has to be fixed.
One simple man, the caretaker of every bulb on Broadway.
It's just in your blood. You just feel, you feel bad when things are not lit right. I feel like going up there and doing something about it, but you can't do it. You got to wait till the serviceman fixes it.
Hold on, stop it. Make it level down. Make it level. Bring it down.
By day, teams of electricians scale the Alps of advertising to right the wrongs Marty Katz detects by night.
Hey, Jim! Give it a whip!
Bob Dianuzzo has worked on these signs for 23 years.
Everybody looks in awe at what we do. When you're here and you listen to the people walking by the street say, look at this, look at that. You did it. You want to say, hey, I did that, All the signs in the city are fascinating. Even this little traffic light, don't walk,
Times Square has a whole special quality to it. It's a shot of adrenaline for the eyes.
Paul Goldberger, chief architecture critic of the New York Times, is an aficionado of Times Square.
I think this is as much a symbol of New York as Central Park or the Brooklyn Bridge or Grand Central Terminal or the Empire State Building.
As central to New York as it is, the spectacle that is Times Square has been under constant threat of being unplugged and torn down for the past 2 decades.
Signs were just going to disappear because Times Square was gradually being trampled by the march of office towers. And this was at a time when most office buildings were glass boxes, and nothing is more antithetical to glass boxes than signs.
Critics charge that proposed massive new office complexes would turn Times Square into the Great Gray Way.
They had a shutdown just to show how bad it would look if the signs were gone. And we all took a spot and we all turned off all the signs. And it was just dead, dark with a couple of street lights.
Marty Katz and his fellow employees at the Artkraft Strauss Sign Company didn't think much of the naked office towers either. The firm makes virtually all of the neon signs in Times Square, and always has.
Those blues and greens and
these
all
are
of those
deeper
greens and
shades
yellows.
and these.
Kemma Starr's family has owned this sign company for 3 generations.
There was a dark age coming, and it looked like the juggernaut was just going to come and crush us. It was like Godzilla comes to Times Square, the end of what we've known from the golden ages of the World War I period, when Broadway got its name, the Great White Way, the great age of the 50s. We thought all of that was going to be in the past.
And what a past.
Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me.
The camel sign actually blew smoke rings. The smoke, which was steam from below the ground, gathered in a chamber behind the sign, and then a plunger punched out, and it blew perfect smoke rings.
The lullaby of Broadway. The band begins to go to town, and everyone goes crazy. You rock by your baby round till everything gets hazy. Hush-a-bye.
Times Square is where new products and new companies were introduced to society. Not always polite society, but our society nonetheless. New movies premiered here with new stars. Modern new appliances. New modes of transportation. New news. And whole new years. Times Square was something of the nation's town square, scene of some of our largest celebrations and most emotional gatherings. All of that was about to become history when supporters of tawdry Times Square came to the rescue, some from rather unexpected quarters.
A few smart people woke up just in time and said this can't be, and devised ways to save the signs.
The Municipal Art Society is 100 years old, and they passed the first anti-sign ordinance in the United States. So for them to come around and say, let's broaden our view and see that liveliness and cheerfulness and brightness are part of our cultural heritage, was very enlightened on their part, to coin a phrase. They also got the Sierra Club to come and testify in front of the Planning Commission that Times Square is an advertising park. They came and said, we're saving Yosemite for you, you should save Times Square for us.
Imagine a national park of neon, complete with Ranger Marty Katz.
It's glitzy, I like it. I always did.
There's a place for Mozart, but there's also a place for Cole Porter and Gershwin and Elvis Presley.
With the gaudy glitz of Times Square now back in vogue, corporations are paying almost any price to be seen on the Great White Way. Some even suggest it's become an ego thing. I don't think so.